This week on Bad Brackets, let's go to the movies. Welcome in to another edition of Bad Brackets. I'm your host, Randy Isbell, and this week, when we first started this show, we did the 90s sitcoms. We got the nostalgia going. We had a lot of fun, a lot of debate. Let's do that again, but with movies. And we're not going to do all the movies in the 90s because that would have been impossible. So we're going to do a category that's nearly as impossible. And we're going to do the best 90s comedy movies of that whole decade. And I can tell you right now, before even looking up another list, I had more than 24 wrote down that I wanted to put on the bracket. I want to keep this at 24 items every week to keep a consistency and to make them go about an hour long and not go ridiculously long. I don't want to do a full month of them. However, this could have been an exception and went the old school Bad Brackets route, and this could have been a full month of episodes for sure. So I had a tough task to narrow it down to 24. These three men have a very tough task to decide who moves on. With this week, your all-time leader in wins, 4 wins in the bag, Mr. Robert Hagan.
What's up, gents? It's time to get your movie on.
Your all-time leader in appearances, making his 11th show, Mr. Erik Watkins.
I got my popcorn ready, and you know what? Something tells me I'm not going to be as mad as I probably should be by the end of the hour.
We will see. And the person who has the most average points per episode for at least 5 appearances made, averaging 43 points a show, Mr. Sean Garmer. Sean, how's it going?
All right. Hopefully ready to have some laughs on this one.
We got the big guns in for this one, and they are going to be put up to the test because I cannot wait to see your reactions to the matchups, your reactions to what made the brackets and the seedings that they get put on, what makes the bracket, what doesn't make the bracket. It's going to be intense. Let's go ahead and look at your rules. These guys know what they're doing for the most part, but just in case this is your first time joining Bad Brackets, let's get that thing out of the way. There we go. Just let you know that each of these fine gentlemen are going to give me 3 possible movies that might make the 24 movie bracket. I'm going to select that with a wonderful wheel here shortly. You get points based on the seeding of the movie that you chose. So it's a 14 seed, you get 14 points. However, if it's not on the bracket, you don't get anything. So a good old risk reward system.
That rule sponsored by Jollibee.
Someday. Before the show, each contestant gave me their predictions for the Final Four and champion. One of them changed them 25 minutes ago. 2 points for each Final Four correct pick. And if they get the champion right, they get 5 whole points. And we've seen it many times before. Those bonus points do matter. So choose wisely as we go on. Let's go right into it and figure out who gets the number 1 pick. And Erik said before the show he was worried about possibly being skunked because of the choices he might want to go with. There are a lot of choices to go with.
Yeah.
Robert, you're going to start us off, sir.
This is the first time I've ever had the first pick.
Second
This is the
Very
second.
first episode. Long time ago, all the way back in January, you did.
Oh, and that's right. And they all picked on me because I had never eaten chocolate cereal.
That is
Gotcha.
as they should have.
Yes.
Sean will get the second pick. We will let Erik get a pick. And once again, I say it nearly every week. It's not a bad thing to be the last pick of these drafts, as 7 of our 15 winners have come from the number 3 spot. So something to think about. But Robert, you got the very first pick.
I'm gonna
get us started.
I am going to go with one. I just watched it about 3 weeks ago, and it's one that's one of my favorites. Give me Bill Murray and Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. Good movie. Sean, what do you got?
Well, this is gonna be a hard one because I feel like you almost kind of gonna go with the obvious ones because some of the ones that would be your underrated may not even be on this thing. There's so many freaking great comedy movies. I'm gonna go with Home Alone.
Home Alone for Sean. Eric, give us the back-to-back.
So for the first one, not that long ago, it was 420. There were celebrations. There may have been edibles, clouds of different colors and flavors around. So one of my personal favorites, I hope many of yours out there as well, especially viewing on that holiday, Half Baked.
Half-Baked. Good movie as well. Give us your next pick.
Another one and more revered in the traditional classics, a bit more quotable at times, Dazed and Confused.
Go like that. All right, Sean.
How about The Mask?
The Mask. Hagen. Finish off your pick.
I can't. Wow. I'm gonna go with one that it's got to be on there. And there's something about old men chasing broads. Give me Grumpy Old Men. And my other one, I hope it's on there. I have a funny feeling it's gonna be down there a little bit lower. I'm taking a gamble. I'm going Liar Liar.
Liar, liar on the bracket. All right, Sean, your last pick.
I don't know. Heck, I picked it before. Let's hope it makes it, even though now I'm
The Mask
thinking
2?
maybe not.
All right,
No.
Mask 2.
Let's
Home Alone 2? All right. Oh,
go with Friday.
Friday. All right, Eric.
The disadvantage of picking third, however, it a little bit deeper on my big board, but I'm glad I get to pick this one. Franchise, another bit of a cult classic, but the one that started it all, House Party.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Such a great
There
movie.
you go. All fantastic picks. I will say, not all 9 of them are on the bracket.
I have to
man.
say, I have never heard of the movie Friday.
Really?
Robert,
I'm
watch that movie.
Whoa!
Throwing it out there right now.
No. Mr. Hagen, there's a lot of things that I can tolerate around here, all right? I understand completely the chocolate cereal. Some upbringings, okay. Friday. If it was the next Friday, fine. If it were Friday after next, fine. I thought I knew this man.
Hey.
Randy, what happened? What is this? How?
I hand my rancidness crown off and hand it to Robert. No. Do yourself a favor. Go watch Friday.
Yeah.
All of the, I'll say right now, again, not all 9 of these are on the bracket. I enjoy all 9 of your picks. So I'm just saying, like, this is how hard this bracket was. But definitely go check out Friday. Fantastic movie. If anybody did not watch the Final Fantasy episode that Sean Garmer was on, Andrew had never played Final Fantasy IX before, and he was set to play it after we recorded that. So, Robert, do yourself a favor. Go watch Friday, and when this episode posts, put the review in the comments. Let everyone know what you thought. I don't know where you can stream it right now, but you can find a way.
I will say that if you had, I was one of those as a kid because I watched it, later. I watched that movie first, and then I watched Friday But if you were wondering where Chris Tucker comes from when you watch Rush Hour, that's why you need to watch that movie.
Okay.
And you know this, man.
All right, let's
Damn.
get started with a themed matchup. There's a lot of them in this. There's a lot of themed matchups. But your first one, your 14 seed. How about Robin Hood Men in Tights
Oh.
or Men in Black?
Suck.
I tell you what, Men in Black came across my board at one point, but Robin Hood and Tights never came to mind when I thought about this.
Very
Oof.
good movie.
And I
Ended up on a lot of different lists. Again, this list was this bracket was impossible to put all the way through. I went with some theme matchups, but a lot of the times it was just where it was popping up on other lists as well. So these were tough. Maybe an underrated movie in Men in Tights, but I enjoyed it. All right, everybody got their answers?
Mm-hmm.
Men in what?
You know the difference between you and me? I make this look good.
Robert didn't even think about Men in Tights and then picked it. Why'd you go with Men in Tights?
I'm a huge you were a fan. I loved what he did there. So I've seen it more than I have seen Men in Black. That's why I went that way.
Sean, why'd you go Men in Black?
I love Mel Brooks, actually, but that's kind of one of his like lower tier movies if you're gonna, rank them or whatever. But I mean, when you have such a classic list like that, it's hard to pick them all. But Men in Black is like, it came out at the end of the 90s, but when you think about like movies that helped make Will Smith, and you think about like, when I think about Tommy Lee Jones, that's the movie I think about. I know he has other ones, but like Agent K, when they replaced him later, I was like, they just ruined the movie because his whole thing with Will Smith in that movie is what makes it.
Eric, what about you?
I mean, it was the same thing. The chemistry, Tommy Lee Jones. Yes, he's had other forays into comedy, but this was really set it off. Will Smith contributing to the soundtrack, showing more of his comedic style of acting from the Fresh Prince and everything, and how they got it all together, especially with Rip Torn as another secondary character. I mean, chef's kiss.
Absolutely love the first one.
Some of the graphics for the aliens are also still stand out today.
Yeah, they did a really good job with it. All right, let's move on and let's give up some points. Our first point of the episode will go to your 11th seed, Friday.
Oh,
So Sean with some points. But it's going to be tough going up against the Big Lebowski.
wow. I thought this was going to be way higher. That is a nasty decision there, Randy.
Welcome to this episode.
Wow. I thought that was going to be like a 2 seed or whatever. That's why I didn't even think about picking it. That's nasty.
Have you ever had those times where you just wanted to cry out of sheer anger? Of all times, you do this to me again when I don't have any alcohol in the house. Why?
I warned you last week.
If I could throw this at my screen and not break it.
Listen, Sean, you said it yourself before we did any of the picks that there were so many different options that you should just go with the no-brainer picks. You thought because
it's hard though. It's hard not to because you're so conditioned to not go with the no-brainer picks. Also,
Randy, as I think you've already proven, Eric is thinking you are very rancid already.
Oh, look.
And we're only the second pick in.
You're lucky. You're lucky. I made a promise a long time ago. Under any other condition, there were a lot of 4, 5, 6, and 10 and 11 letter words that could have come out of my mouth right about now. And a
Damn.
12-letter word, now that I think about it.
All right. Show me a 6-letter word or an 8-letter word. Lebowski moves on. Eric, why'd you go Friday?
I mean, look, Chris Tucker, Ice Cube, rest in peace, John Witherspoon.
Mhm.
It's a classic setting and everything. You get the flavor. Yes, with all the themes and stuff, but still more relatable to everybody. But I can understand sometimes you just want a white Russian and you're mad about peeing on a rug that tied the room together. So I can't complain too much. At least at two of you.
Hagen, why'd you go Big Lebowski?
How can you go against the dude and John Goodman packing the heat? I mean, just the funniest two guys some of the two funniest guys to work together in a movie, and you get that whole scenario. It's just priceless acting by Jeff Bridges.
Sean, what about you?
I mean, this is like one of the classics, even not even counting comedies, just great movies of the 90s. Like, talk about like one of those quoted movies. I think my dad was like constantly always quoting this movie at me. And just like so many damn good lines. John Goodman is so freaking amazing in this movie. Like Steve Buscemi is great in this movie too. Like it's a classic. Like anybody that still hasn't watched this, you got to go watch it like right now.
Absolutely. I think it was still free on YouTube last I looked, but it might have been pulled off by the time this episode drops. I know those come and go, but
yeah,
I think the last time I watched it was actually on YouTube. And not even like illegally or anything. It was like they just had it up there. All right, let's move on into your second round of this bracket. It doesn't get any easier. That is for sure. But Men in Black, your 19 seed. We've had 2 upsets so far, by the way. Going up against your 3 seed, and points for Home Alone. Big classic
points
in itself. Which start of a franchise was the better movie? Which one moves on? Let's see it.
I'm going to preface my pick as this is a Christmas movie.
Nice.
I mean, it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Who said it's not?
No,
Yeah.
Randy knows why I'm making that comment. Don't get me
This
started.
is not a
about
Christmas
the
movie episode. We'll get there, and the rancidness will come out for sure.
Oh, and if I'm on your wavelength, yeah, that's a Christmas movie too.
No, it is not. We're not.
Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, and Gremlins. All Christmas movies.
No.
Die Hard for sure, yes.
See, Ring,
Gremlins actually is the one that's definitely.
You're trying to make me less mad. It's only working slightly, okay? Slightly.
I just hit the wrong thing. Let's see. Robert, you went Home Alone?
I did.
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin.
Tell me why.
Macaulay Culkin and the setup with those guys, the storyline behind it, you just the laughability with Pesci and what they were doing with all of the accidents, the stunts. 1000%. That's easily one of my top 5 comedy movies of all time.
John, you also went Home Alone. How come?
It won Academy Awards. It was like the highest grossing like comedy movie for a long time until like not too long ago, actually. Like it is such a classic, like Christmas movie classic, comedy classic. You could put it on whenever, and it is awesome. Like I probably watch it like at least twice a year every year.
What's funny is we at school we still have memes of the Wet Bandits all over our school in different classrooms, and so I mean that movie sticks out on a daily basis.
One thing that I think gets overlooked is John Williams' score in this movie is phenomenal.
Oh, yes.
I mean, obviously he gets credit for so many other fantastic movies and the music he comes out with, but Home Alone is top notch for sure. Eric, I know you didn't go with Home Alone. Why'd you go Money or Men in Black? That's the words.
I'm going to give a not entirely hot take, but as a reference earlier, Taco Bell hot sauce level hot take here. As much as I like Home Alone, think it's hilarious, a lot of still very quotable moments and everything, Home Alone 2 is better. When you have something to where a sequel can be much more improved, that wasn't entirely the case with the Men in Black. Yes, there were moments, but stronger foundation for the franchise. And I'm not even going to talk about Home Alone 3 that should not really have existed. No, but
or 4 or 5 or 6 or where we're at to now.
Precisely.
Yeah. Actually, I thought 4 was okay. to be fair to it. But no, I get it. I mean, 1 and 2 is really, really close. Mm-hmm. There's definitely points to be made on both sides. I will give you that. All right, let's give away some more points, which is probably bad news for the rest of this bracket because I already told you not all 9 were making this bracket, and this is the 3rd one to get points already. Your 6th seed. Groundhog Day.
Oh God, this
tradition movie for people, or the
this
Big Lebowski.
Absolutely freaking.
This hurts.
This one's hard for me too.
This one hurts.
If it isn't, nope. I'm gonna be calm because I know it's gonna get worse. I know it's gonna get worse.
Let's see the answer. Very curious. The Big Lebowski moves on as a 22 seed. You love to see it. I don't know which way I would have went, Robert. So you picking Groundhog's Day, I can't even be mad about it.
I thought I was going to be on an island with this one.
Well,
Robert,
you guys
know,
Bill Murray, this was his first big role that didn't have huge name actors with him. And I think that was the big thing. And that put Andie MacDowell out there in the forefront. And she became one of that big supporting actress in this movie. And just love the thing over and over, and how each day he changed, just tweaked a little bit of how he reacted to each person. It got better every time. And, and in the end, he gets the girl. So.
Eric, why'd you go Big Lebowski?
I mean, with all of the various insanity, and this is aside from the point to where when I first watched The Big Lebowski with my friend, he turned to me and said, "You see the dude? That's totally going to be you in about 15 years." He wasn't terribly far off, which says a lot, but it's just everything between the thing at the bowling alley and the Jesus and the nihilists and all of the extra plots that just make you wonder and laugh at the same time, but that make it even funnier. Seriously.
John, what about you?
I don't think I really need to add any more than what Eric just said.
Okay.
I nailed it.
All right. Who goes to the final 4? As you guys are writing down your answers, I'm just going to get some bullet points in here real quick. Look at all of the fantastic actors that are lead roles in all of these movies. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm missing one as I'm going down this list, only one actor shows up again in this bracket. As far as a leading, as far as a leading role goes, I might be missing one as I'm looking through my list.
Interesting.
But again, this bracket was hard to make.
Yeah.
With that said, who makes the final 4? Everybody has their answers wrote down, ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Hagen, let me see yours. Okay. Sean, let me see yours. Eric, it's on you. It's your decision, buddy. About
Yeah.
the 22 seed.
Yeah.
All the
I
way
like
to
the
the
upset.
Final Four.
I like
I
the
love
upset.
to see it.
Wow.
Absolutely fantastic. All right, here are your points after the first bracket. Sean with 2 of his movies already on the board with 14 points. Robert with 6. Eric, nothing on the board as of yet. Any nerves creeping in after the first set of movies?
I'm not going to call it nerves because I flat out said I am fine with taking an L with this one, especially the fact that we're already one quadrant in. And I'm still waiting to see how mad you're going to make me with some of your other themed matchups. That will make any sort of loss feel worse.
Well, let's get to our themed matchups, shall we? And give away more points. We're having so much fun giving away points. Your 15
I don't like your
seed.
tone.
Liar.
15?
Liar.
I'll take
Wow.
15. Yeah,
And
you don't even have to show 18. Just go ahead and write liar, liar down.
are you sure?
Yes.
Because it's up against The Mask.
Yeah.
Sean. Which
I was
Jim
so worried I
Carrey
wasn't-
movie moves on?
I think I know what both of you guys wrote down, and both of you are wrong.
I also love the fact that you didn't think it was going to make the list, and then you said it was guaranteed to move on. So which is it? Is it good enough where it moves on against anything, or should it have been lower on the list?
See, I have a story that's
dear
related to one of the scenes, but I'm going to save this one for off air. You'll understand why.
All right, let's see the winner. Liar, liar moves on. Sean, why'd you go with The Mask?
It's a movie I watched as a kid. I really enjoyed. I mean, I was a big Jim Carrey fan as a kid, and I always liked The Mask because it was funny, and he's like a kind of like a superhero, and just man, there's so many lines in that thing that are so funny. The one, and then like the mannerisms that he can do with The Mask too are just awesome. It always still makes me laugh when I've watched it again.
This Cameron Diaz is hot. She makes part of that movie, but you've said it on a couple other ones. There are so many lines that you still hear quoted in Liar Liar on a daily or a basis all the time. You know, like where he's beating himself up in the bathroom. The pen is blue.
It's like,
the
what
pen
are
is
you
blue.
doing?
The
I'm
goddamn
myself.
pen is blue. Yes, I can quote most every one of those lines in that movie.
Oh, here she comes to wreck the day!
It's just so good. So many quotable lines from the one Jim Carrey. Let's just get it out of the way. To face Liar Liar. Yes, this is the Jim Carrey section. Of course. Dumb and Dumber. Liar, liar. I told you Jeff Bridges was coming back. Well, I said an actor was coming back. It was Jeff Bridges. Liar, liar, Dumb and Dumber. Which one moves on? What's the better Jim Carrey movie?
I hate you. I hate you. You warned me. I still hate you.
Now you say Jeff Bridges comes back, but a couple of these movies has had an actor in it that I am highly impressed with, and he was kind of the face of the late 80s and 90s, and that's Cary Elwes. You know, Men in Tights. He was part of a couple of other movies. I'm not going to say them yet, just because they might be on the list, but
Princess Bride, for sure.
Princess Bride, late 80s, Hot Shots, and some of the things that he did. He when we talk about 90s movies, or he's one of those faces and names that pop up. So
for sure. To me, I mean, yes, he had some great comedy stuff, but some of his non-comedy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the only Saw movie I can stand. Twister was fantastic. So he's been in
Yeah.
a lot of really, really good movies. I've always
Yeah.
been a fan of his. Also, totally forgot until I was looking at his thing. He was in Liar Liar. I
Mhm.
forgot he was the stepdad.
He was the stepdad.
Yeah.
But again, I was talking about lead role stuff. But it just crossed my mind that he did pop back up in that movie.
Mhm.
He's been fantastic. All right. Which one moves on though? Liar Liar, Dumb and Dumber.
So you're telling me there's a
Oh,
chance?
sure, yes.
Not much of a surprise there. Dumb and Dumber moves on. Robert, why'd you go away from it?
I still love Liar Liar. It is my favorite comedy movie of all times, and it gets to the point where Denise hates it because I will quote a movie line from that movie all the time. And back in the day when we had VHS and we have it on VHS, I was wearing it out watching that movie over and over. So
All of these have been completely quotable movies, as is our next matchup. Another theme in the bottom half of this quadrant with your 10 seed, Billy Madison. No, it's not that theme. I would not put Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey quadrants together.
Yes, you would.
I would say
Yeah,
yes, you would.
yeah, you
Happy
would.
Gilmore.
Clueless.
Good. Okay.
Mm.
Wasn't expecting that.
By the way, Haley, who took this bracket test a little bit earlier to make sure everything was running correctly, hated me for this matchup.
I hate you for this matchup, and you know
Yeah,
exactly
I actually
why.
hate you for this matchup too.
I don't think so. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong with this one, but
Maybe Robert's just clueless.
Yeah.
Let's see who moves on to the second round. Let's end Eric's misery. Oh, Eric was the deciding vote too. Clueless moves on over
We got
Billy
two upsets.
Madison.
This is why I said I hate
Wow.
you, but you know exactly why I hate you. Odds
I
are
do.
you. Yeah.
what? Why Clueless? That's what I want. I mean, I don't know.
Look, do not get me wrong. Billy Madison comes on any day of the week, even still to today. I tune in.
Mhm.
But you also talk about those iconic levels of 90s comedies, and especially with like Alicia Silverstone, Stacey Dash. There were a lot of very underrated but powerful, funny moments in Clueless. Even though for the longest time, well, technically, no, I couldn't relate to being a virgin who couldn't drive.
Family show.
Hey! Quote the movie, good sir. That is a quote.
I agree. Sean, why did you go Clueless?
I grew up in a house with a sister and two stepsisters, and they would watch that movie a bunch. Also, I mean, like, think about Alicia Silverstone and Stacey Dash. Like, that's probably one of their crowning moments. Honestly, that's what they're most known for is that movie. Just like think about all the Mean Girls and other teen movies that come after that. This is the movie that comes from, and
100%.
I don't know. I just don't have this I love other Adam Sandler movies. That Billy Madison is not like one of my favorite ones.
I'm gonna say two words: Bridget Wilson. That's it.
All right, so Robert's taking Harry's role of just like, look at this hot person that's on the show. It makes
Like
the movie
I
good.
said, I will have my story
I
off
don't-
air about Liar Liar.
I'm
Okay?
I just never figured out the real behind Clueless. I mean, it was just like, I just
You nailed it. All right, look at that matchup. Try to figure out the theme. 1 bonus point up for grabs. If you can guess what the 7th seed is based off my themed grouping here.
Something school related.
That's what I was thinking. School related.
Uh,
Is this where you throw in class act?
that your guess?
That's my guess.
Eric, you got a guess?
I would lean. I probably shouldn't, but I would lead the same class act. That would have been my guess too.
Okay.
Ah,
Sean?
I'll just to be different, maybe Rushmore.
So school was a good thought process as far as the theme. The theme really was just dumb main characters.
Oh, okay.
Kind of went along with Dumb and Dumber, but that's up there. But other dumb main characters are in Wayne.
Ah, wow. Okay.
Wayne's
Oh,
I
World.
was really
Wayne's
thinking this was
World.
Wayne's World versus Billy Madison, but you guys threw me a curveball.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it. That's why this show is so much fun to do. It's like
Emphasis on you're not being mad about it.
that's why I love doing the show. I bring on. You guys can yell at me all you want. I'm used to it, but I just love the decisions you guys make, and it goes in a different direction than I thought. Which one moves on to Dumb and Dumber?
Wayne's World. Wayne's World.
World all the
Excellent.
way.
Right.
Party
John?
time! Excellent!
Why'd you go Wayne's World over Clueless there, Sean?
I mean, you talk about. Well, I've said the quotable thing, but God, who doesn't know the moment where they do everybody rocks out to Bohemian Rhapsody from this movie? Everybody's done it at least once, you know. And like it's funny to think about where this started to how this movie actually becomes like a big deal, and like Mike Myers goes on and has his own character that he does great with this, but like, dude, the chemistry between those two in this movie is like honestly it rivals the Dumb and Dumber, to be fair. Like,
when did Dumb and Dumber come out?
94.
95. So a couple years after Wayne's World, because Wayne's World came out just before graduation.
Yeah,
I
Wayne's
remember
World was
right out of
92.
graduation.
Wayne's
Yeah.
World was 92, yeah.
Yeah, well, like right after success as part of the SNL stints, it's like,
Yeah.
I have my reasons, but this is one.
Wow.
Now the big matchup: Wayne and
Can I-
Garth, or
Can I-
Lloyd and
Dang.
what's the other guy's character's name?
Harry?
Yeah,
Harry.
there you go. Lloyd and Harry. I just remembered Lloyd Christmas.
Can I put Liar Liar again?
No.
This one sucks.
Which movie joins the Big Lebowski in the final four?
Randy, you know this upsets me.
Good. Let's see. Robert, let me see yours.
This is just because my 3 of my top 4 were in this side of the bracket. That's
I
why
did
he's
not- when
taking
you
a rat.
When you sent it to me, I even showed Haley. I go, Robert's going to be so mad at this part of this episode for this reason.
God, I mean, that's
So one for Dumb and Dumber. Did anyone go Wayne's World? Sean, I'm going to guess you. Nah, is it clean sweep, Eric?
Yep, it's a clean
All
sweep.
right.
He did that to me at the last bracket, so I know how you feel, Robert.
I was looking at him like, okay,
No,
3 of them.
Or the last side, sorry, yeah.
yeah. Again, I still get flashbacks over the 7-10 split. Yes,
Yeah,
I
that's
still will admit to today, I'm still bitter about that one, sir.
Maybe one day we'll do the Super Monster episode and we'll get the 710s back. But for now, here are
No,
your points.
no, we're not. No. I'm not going to go through that again. No. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that evil on us.
Let's not quote that movie. Sean with 32 points. Robert with 21. Eric, we're halfway
Again.
through.
Again, I said I am prepared. I feel today like I did years ago taking the Putnam exam. Math geeks will know exactly how that feels. You just know you're taking an L. Be prepared.
All right. Well, we got Big Lebowski and Dumb and Dumber into the final four. Let's see who will join them as we start the second half of our bracket. Your 13 seed is Office Space.
Oof.
Your 20 seed, Clerks.
Ah, you freaking suck.
You're doing this on purpose. You're
Hold
doing
on,
this
hold on,
on
hold on.
purpose.
Robert's looking up what Clerks is.
I hate to say this. Here's the thing, and you guys can say this. I'm the eldest out of this group. I don't remember either one of these two movies.
Oh, come on.
Seriously, I don't remember these two. I mean,
Have you not? You never worked in an office, Robert?
mm-hmm.
You got to go watch Office Space.
Yeah. Did nobody take your stapler?
Set everything on fire.
There's so many that had working in an office for like a couple of years or what, like so many of the things that happened to me. I'm like, wow.
You need to watch Office Space. I don't know if you would like Clerks. I enjoy Clerks, but I also think Clerks is very hit or miss with some people as far as its comedy. You either absolutely love it or you think it's dumb. I really liked it.
Just as I was having a conversation about somebody about how the New Jersey trilogy evolved into the View Askew universe.
Which one moves on? I have a feeling. Yep.
Okay. That's
All right.
yeah.
You didn't have to break the tie. That would have been a fun tie for you to break for movies you had not seen.
The thing is, that one pains me, but working at my job for damn near 7 years, that Office Space just became so much more relatable as time went on.
Just from some of the stories, I remember you telling me about that place. I was like,
yeah.
Let's go right into our next matchup. Just barely making it onto the bracket based time-wise. That is just qualifying for the bracket. It's American Pie.
Ooh.
I love how you guys get so upset. I haven't showed you what it's up against.
I'm not saying that because it's fair. It's because, damn it, you're
Finch's
rancid.
mom.
How am I rancid? It's a good movie.
No, it's not for the movie. It's for what's probably going to come next. There's going to be something to where I'm going to go on booking.com and I'm going to want to look up flights.
Wait, stop. Whoa. What'd you say? There's something?
Something about Mary.
American Pie, or there's something about Mary.
Hey, booking.com, if you're listening, I'm a level 1 genius on your app. I have it. It's all well and good. And if you want to sponsor this show, all I would want to curry favor is just, I don't know, a trip maybe up to Idaho, see some sights, get some potatoes, do some
and an Effie
stuff.
burger.
Exactly. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
But while you wait for booking.com to get back to you, which one's Don't show yet. I don't think he's figured it out. He pulled a Sean and decided to rant instead of write. But
that's because this was an incredibly tough decision. The words. It's a lot of words.
Might be the longest episode we ever have, but I'm having so much fun. Actually, while you guys are thinking about it, anybody out there like the idea of me breaking this up into days where you get a quadrant per day, so it's not long episodes, but we get stuff throughout the week? Let me know in the comments. It's something I thought about. Probably not. Or just have it all in one and then break them down throughout the week so you can watch them in parts. Just ideas.
You could do that, yeah. I don't.
Yeah. But who moves on here? American Pie 2-1. Sean, why'd you go with Something About Mary?
I had a feeling American Pie was going to win. But also, I mean, it's great in its own right. Like, I'm going to be honest, that Ben Stiller moment, I still have fears about that moment
I
happening
think
to
we
me.
all do.
Like,
I think we all do.
Yeah, and then just there's so many like lines. I think we've all anybody that's been on a date and been freaked out, and you know the girl's like out of your league, and you're sitting there just like Ben Stiller so many times. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 movies, very awkward dating scenes, and I loved American Pie. American Pie came out in that perfect time of my age where it just fit perfectly. Love that whole series. Some of them just get weird, but the main series, American Pie, so good.
But with that being said, a lot of these people from American Pie, the actors and the actresses have moved on to.
Yeah.
They're out there in mainstream. You see them all the time. I'm sorry. How do you think Allison Hannigan has lived on as long as she has? Besides the quote of this one time at band camp, who would have figured something like that would have stuck in the late 1990s, and you still hear it 20 years later?
Well, I mean, that plus, that was a more wide-reaching audience and things like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, of course, especially when you had, as Randy, you said, that perfect time in your life. It was that time in my life as well. And I'm like, it relates so much, it hurts.
Another movie that related pretty well with me, one of my all-time favorite sports movies as well. There was a couple of them I wanted to put on this bracket. Some of them did not make the cut, but this one did. Which one faces Office Space? How about The Sandlot?
I told Denise that one last night. I thought, I think it makes the list, but
I'll throw it out here right now, though it is my favorite all-time movie. Major League is not on this list, and I hate myself for it.
Oh, Randy.
What?
This bracket is hard.
No.
This bracket is so hard. I picked this one over, even just from where it was landing on other lists.
As far as laughs go, Major League is a lot funnier.
Yes.
Major League is great.
Yeah, Major League's so much more funnier.
Bob Uecker, come on. Bob Uecker makes part of that.
Oh, never mind. I remember why I didn't make the list, because it came out in '89. But it was on the chopping list, and obviously that was why. But it was when I was putting things together today, and I saw The Sandlot, and I go, oh, I forgot Major League. No, I didn't. It came out in '89. It didn't qualify. So there you go. Never mind. But that is my favorite all-time baseball movie. Office Space or The Sandlot. Show me who moves on. Wow, I'm kind of surprised here a little bit. Robert, I'm with you. I love Sandlot.
Yeah, I mean, it was that first baseball movie that I remember that wasn't it was about being the kid, about the kid out there and just having a good time. And you're killing me, Smalls.
It's a good coming of age movie as well, and has the great quotable lines. But Eric, why'd you go Office Space other than it related so well to your job?
I mean, besides just the relating so well, me personally, while I'd like The Sandlot, I understand and it's a good hilarity, but when it comes to even from that genre and sub-genre, I'm thinking to myself, Little Big League, Rookie of the Year. There are others that they don't come close, but they're right up there in that echelon. But with Office Space, Mike Judge. Do I need to say anything other than Mike Judge?
And this was at Mike Judge's peak too. I will definitely give you that.
And you didn't quote or you didn't say one of the other movies that I thought was one of the best ones. How about Little Giants?
Yeah.
Rick Moranis.
To me, I think Little Giants is a better like comedy.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I like that movie too. Moving on to the other matchup in this quadrant, taking on the 12 seed. Dyslexia worked out really well there. 12 seed American Pie. Eric, how much did you say you like this movie, American Pie?
I I liked it quite a bit. Again, relatable, hilarity, my style of humor, a lot of it.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
definitely Eric's style.
But did you like it more than this movie?
Ah,
Tommy Boy versus American Pie. Hi, Eric.
Eric is frozen.
See, even my
Oh.
internet was like, oh no, we're going to stop for a split second to make
I
sure
w-
you
I
don't
w-
explode.
We were at that point where I just could not tell if you were frozen or staring a hole in my soul.
Both! It was both! I was staring a hole in your soul and it froze at that moment. Oh.
You're hitting Eric in the heartstrings there.
I don't know how sober I'm gonna be going forward. I was like,
Sean, Robert, you got your answers?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Eric or Sean's thinking. Sean's thinking.
This is a hard one.
I agree.
Love both those movies, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's so many hard decisions in this bracket. Show me who moves on. Tommy Boy gets the win.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
It's very good.
See, I felt like this would be I'm okay with either one.
Yeah, I think it is. But I mean, Chris Farley, David Spade, Dan Aykroyd, a great movie. American Pie, just that, like we've said, relatable to your guys's. I was already married when the movie came out, so.
Again, I said it earlier with some of the other actors in that first quadrant. I hate the fact that Chris Farley only has one movie in this bracket. I feel it's downright criminal, but you've seen the movies on here. You try to spread things out and give some love to everybody. It was so hard not to put other ones in here. What a fantastic comedian there. And there's another actor we haven't even seen yet that will only get one representation in the bracket. And I hated it when I got done with it, really realizing you only had one movie in it. But there you go. Office Space, Tommy Boy. Who joins The Big Lebowski, Dumb and Dumber in the final four? I think Eric has his pick. Sean, do you have your pick?
Yeah.
Hagen, you got your pick. Oh, man. Sean, let me see yours. Eric?
You chose wisely.
Because Hagen was the one I was so torn on which way he might go.
Well, he's never seen.
I've never seen
He's
Office
not
Space.
gonna. He's
Oh, that's
not gonna
true.
pick it.
That's true. I did forget about that part. Tommy Boy moves on. Eric, talk about Tommy Boy for a second.
Fat guy in a little coat. Fat guy in a little coat. I'm sorry, how many times have you had the urge to do something similar at least once?
Or that does his suit make me look fat?
I think alone, Chris Farley in the facial expressions and his hair. I mean, that was the comedy stitch of those years, especially when I see him dancing around. All I can see is Saturday Night Live and how he was such the fixture when he was on that show that I love tuning in to watch him.
So as we move on to this final bracket, now we had that section with Jim Carrey. He really dominated the 90s. He really broke out, had some fantastic movies for sure. But if you took him out, who is the poster child for comedy movies in the 90s?
Adam Sandler.
It is Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler also gets his grouping. We've already had Billy Madison on the bracket because, again, these groupings only have 3.
Happy.
Your 16 seed, The Water Boy.
Oh.
You
No,
didn't.
no,
You didn't.
No! No!
no,
Wow.
This is wrong. This is
You are so terrible.
What do you guys think this
This-
is?
It's got to be Happy Gilmore, the two sports
Has to be
movies.
Happy
Why?
Gilmore.
It's The Wedding Singer, guys. What are you guys talking about?
No, you suck
Oh.
even
That's
more. for
even
thinking it's that.
worse! That is worse!
I can't win with you guys.
Oh my!
Damn it, man! I love that movie. Damn, I love both those movies so hard.
So do I. Wedding Singer is one of those that one of the handful in my life I actually saw in theaters.
That was a good, if I remember right, that soundtrack was a very good soundtrack.
The Wedding
Wedding
Singer?
Singer?
100%.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Wedding Singer had a great soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Which Adam Sandler movie advances? Waterboy, Wedding Singer. We got one for Waterboy, one for Wedding Singer,
Wow.
and the Waterboy advances barely. That's what you love
Okay.
to see at a 16-17 matchup.
Look,
Damn it.
fine. I'm okay with you. I'm okay with you. It's hard to point diagonally. But
You pointed. We all, yeah.
So we just go ahead. You guys were complaining about this matchup, and then you created this matchup.
You
Still
put Happy
suck.
Gilmore number one.
Still
Yes.
suck for this.
It was on top of so many different lists.
The price is wrong. Damn it.
Price is wrong, bitch.
I think you've had enough. No,
And
now
I'm
you've
with
had
you,
enough.
and I'm with you guys. Waterboy and Wedding Singer was really tough to decide on. So putting that 16 and 7, and well, Happy Gilmore was definitely in the top couple. So moving it to 1 was fine. But yeah, it topped a lot of the lists that I saw. Is there an upset with the Waterboy? Bobby Boucher get it done? Or does Happy Gilmore advance? Let's see. Any day now. 1 for the
It's hard.
Waterboy.
This sucks.
Oh, you think it's hard now?
It's up to you, Sean.
Oh,
Happy Gilmore.
With all due respect to the Mud Dogs of South Central Louisiana State University,
Coach Klein, Coach
I'm
Klein,
sorry.
Mr. Coach Klein.
Gatorade.
Come on, Jerry Reed and Henry Winkler, the two best coaches that have coached football.
They
show
even
me
went
that.
the extra mile, not just with Bob Barker, but Vern Lundquist came in that
Farmer.
extra cereal,
Come on.
like extra kind of cereal. Come on.
Farmer
Waterboy
Fran.
is amazing, no doubt. It's just Happy Gilmore made me sort of care about a sport that I don't give two craps about at all
Well, that
because of how funny he made it. I mean, it would never happen in actual golf. You'd have to have some kind of like, I guess, I don't know, NFL Blitz version of golf. But like,
I mean, granted,
Tell me.
if you went ahead and you got a fling stick and did fling golf, you could probably make some of those maneuvers. I'm just saying.
just meet me out on the 18th hole at 9 p.m. Okay.
Just
There
like
you go.
you can count on me waiting for you in the parking lot.
Let's move on to our final opening round matchup. Another themed head-to-head decision for you guys. Who had the funnier job? Was it
Charlie Sheen, are you doing men at work? No.
Ace Ventura, the pet detective,
Hmm. Okay, you didn't go the way I
or
thought you were.
Austin Powers, the International Man of Mystery.
That's a. Woo, man, damn it. To be fair, I
Only
thought that
one
one
Mike
actually
Myers
wasn't going to
movie's
make the
on here.
list.
Or I guess we had Wayne's World too. That's right. Wayne's World and Austin Powers. So Mike Myers is on here twice at least. I'm okay with that. He also had a big 90s. Who moves on?
Austin
the hell is
Powers,
ale?
Fembots.
Ace Ventura.
That's a C.
Yeah,
That's a C.
I can see how he looks like an L.
So what were the votes? Robert had me completely.
Ale. I need ale.
Yeah. Robert's
What
taking
did
the
you guys
L.
vote?
I'm
I
writing
was
it
trying
wrong.
to read Hagen's the whole time. What did you guys go with?
Winner was Ace.
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura moved on. Eric, why'd you go Austin Powers?
Another one of those that still around that same formidable time of my life. Parts of that, my style of humor. I still do the whole $1 million.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a second habit, second nature at this point.
So Ace Ventura moves on, laces out, people. It goes up against your 8th seed. And I said earlier that there was an actor out there. I was devastated that only one of their movies made this bracket. One of my favorite comedian actors of all time. We've not seen him yet in this bracket. Anybody want to take a guess?
Charlie Sheen.
Hot Shot. Yeah.
God, the fact that you think he's my favorite actor, I'm going to kick
Well,
you later.
Well,
I'm
listen,
not. I'm
he had
staying.
Hot
I'm
Shots.
staying out of this one.
I mean,
had
Hot,
Men
I mean,
at
And
Hot,
I love Hot Shots.
both the Hot Shots movies are really great.
I know.
I
I'm like-
agree, but I preface it with one of my favorite actors of all time.
I'm trying to think of which one of the big ones we haven't probably seen yet.
Wow.
The late, great
Rodney Dangerfield.
Robin Williams.
Mrs. Doubtfire, yeah.
Mrs. Doubtfire. The fact that Robin Williams made this list just one time broke my heart.
Yeah, he was such a big part of the 90s.
But with him in the 90s in particular, comedy was his best, but he still had a lot of range as an actor.
Yeah.
Now,
The 90s was definitely his range. Like Patch Adams, I think, was in the 90s. I don't look at that as much as a comedy movie, even though there's a lot of jokes in it.
Patch Adams,
Good Morning Vietnam was in the late 80s. So
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
Dreams May Come, not a comedy, but another good movie.
Jumanji,
Also on
Yeah.
420, by the way.
Hook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting was in the 90s. That was a very dramatic movie. I was trying to remember if that came in the 90s or not. But
his
Of course, he's
his,
the genie in Aladdin.
his skit alone, you listen to some of his skits and just his live stuff of especially the golf skit. Tell me,
That's what you call
let me
it.
tell you about his sport.
That's what we're going to call it. A stroke. Because every time you hit the ball, you feel like you're going to die.
1000%.
I hate that he's only on here one time. But does he move on?
There you go. There's another one because we have to do comics because John Panette, one of my
Oh, yeah.
favorite comics of all time. There
The
you go.
comics one will happen at some point, but that's another list that's almost impossible to narrow down to 24. That's for sure. Who moves on here? Mrs. Doubtfire, Ace Ventura. Mrs. Doubtfire, love to see it. Honestly, I gotta say, the other two in that first matchup, Austin Powers, Ace Ventura, I think both overrated. That's just me.
I love Ace Ventura, but also the second movie to me is just as good. But
And it's the fact that with Austin Powers and how that eventually came into a bit of a franchise, stopped at the right point. But again,
yeah,
not always in your face, but you got a lot of good laughs out of all of them.
That's fair. We'll talk about Mrs. Doubtfire here shortly as it is in the finals of this quadrant. Happy Gilmore, Mrs.
Wow.
Doubtfire.
Oh, this one
One
sucks.
spot remains with Big Lebowski, Dumb and Dumber, and Tommy Boy. Let you guys take your time while I get the other final four up.
There's and we said it. We'll bring it up at the end of but there are so many movies that easily.
Like I said, I could have wrote I wrote 30 of them before I looked anything up, without a lie.
Yeah, and this is one that's like I can pick 3. I could go out on limbs with my final 4 and everything. It's like at least if this were a time to where I would get my record low total, it's one to where I could understand.
Yeah, and all, like I said, all 3 of your picks, I like all 3 of those movies. There's not one where I went, I never heard of it or I don't like it.
Yeah,
but man, this was a tough one.
Yeah, that's why it's like I go in saying, I can't be mad for that. I'm mad for other reasons, thanks to you, but I'm not mad about that.
I mean, we didn't even put the other bowling movie on there. Kingpin didn't even make it with Woody Harrelson. And
every movie that you guys brought up that did not make it into this bracket, as far as your 3 picks, all were on my sheet at one point. Kingpin was on my sheet at one point.
I was surprised.
Again, if we did do that full on month long episode with the whole 68 and go crazy with it, that we still would have missed out on some really good movies.
I'm gonna throw out.
I can believe that.
I'm gonna throw out an actor that we did not even touch on, and that is Eddie Murphy.
That's true.
Yeah.
No Eddie Murphy anywhere in that.
Yeah.
No Nutty Professor. No Beverly Hills Cop.
But that was in the 80s.
That
right?
was
Beverly Hills Cop was 80s.
I think that was late 80s. But
not all of them.
Nutty Professor was out. So
yeah, Nutty Professor was in the 90s.
I wasn't a big Nutty Professor fan. Shrek, I just looked up, was 2001.
Yeah, Shrek
I think the Beverly Hills Cop 3, I think, was 90s. But you're right. The other ones came out earlier.
Mm-hmm.
When did Coming to America was 80s?
That was 80s.
That was 80s.
Trying to think of what he did in the 90s. I'm looking. You're right. Beverly Hills Cop came out in 90, or number 3 came out in 94, as you said. But yeah, his 90s movies were The Nutty Professor and Dr. Dolittle. So it was tough for him to.
Yeah, tough for him to really punch
those.
through on a list of only 24.
Yeah, when we get in with the 80s or something, he's definitely on there. He obviously had some fantastic movies later on too, but yeah, Eddie Murphy, fantastic. That's a good call. Who moves on though? I'm trying to think if anybody would have win a win against Happy Gilmore. Erik, let me see yours. There's a Gilmore. Sean, did you go Gilmore?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hagen did. Clean sweep. Talk about Mrs. Doubtfire as we're going to get to Happy Gilmore in the final 4. Who loved that movie as much as I did?
I loved it. I still love it. I even sometimes do the hello, just like the scene where he puts his face in it. Just a lot.
The whole stuff with the shaving cream is
yes.
For me, I think the greatest part of that movie, he was unbelievable in what he was doing with all of his characters. But for me, it was the balancing act of Sally Field in that movie. Yeah. What Sally Field brought to her character to balance out what Robin was doing. Hands down, I think Robin has to be probably, if not the top comedian of my lifetime ever. So,
and just like how you would was somewhat, I wouldn't say difficult to remember with Carrie Hughes in Liar Liar, Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, good. Yes. He plays a great evil,
And for him choking on that shellfish, hold on, dear, and he.
Yeah. Also, the story in that movie is also it can be very relatable for people.
It one of those grabbing your heartstrings kind of grasp there. Yeah, I agree.
Well, here you go. Here is your final 4. Good luck. A 1 seed, a 2 seed, a 5 seed, and then the shocker with the 22 seed, Big Lebowski, getting in
Wait,
to the final.
shocker what? Oh, wait, never mind.
A shocker
another
because
month ago.
Randy put it that low.
I love Big Lebowski. I honestly thought it was cult enough where I had to go down the list a bit. It is definitely a cult classic, that's for sure. Let's start it off. Big Lebowski versus Dumb and Dumber.
This one's difficult for me.
Not for me.
Sean has his answer. Robert, you have your answer. Eric is writing down his. Hagen, let me see your answer. Sean, I believe, went the opposite way. And Eric, break the tie. Dumb and Dumber.
No. Boo.
I'm sorry. It's just. I'll spare you in the fact that I will not do the most annoying sound in the world. Especially because there are people who would be wearing headphones as well.
I appreciate that. The other semifinal, Tommy Boy, Happy Gilmore. Who joins Dumb and Dumber? Robert, let me see yours. Yeah. Eric? Nah. Clean sweep, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. There's a chance to go with it, but Happy Gilmore is in your finals. And shocker of all shockers now, it is
One
Jim
versus
Carrey
two.
versus Adam Sandler in your finals. The 1 versus 2 seed, as Robert said. Out of all of these movies, out of all of the arguments and the complaining about the different matchups, the top 2 seeds do end up where I guess they belong. But which one wins the whole thing?
As I write this, I have the music from this movie in my head.
Well, Eric, you were the last to write it down. Let's see yours first. Happy Gilmore. Sean, let's see yours. And that leaves Robert Hagen to break the tie. Our favorite, funniest 90s comedy movie of all time is...
The wrong Jim Carrey movie is up there. Sorry. Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore wins. What one are you going to pick? Oh, Liar Liar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one. Ben Stiller also playing the perfect foil. Now you go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep.
Thoughts on this bracket, guys?
Pretty
We've
legit,
said it
right?
many times.
Yeah.
Really rough one.
There's so many movies
You
that
could have
are
put another
left out.
24 up there.
Yeah.
Completely different.
You could have gone 48. You could have gone 68.
64. We could have went
Yeah,
64.
you could have done the
and-
traditional 64
Mhm.
with this.
We could do a part 2 with 24 completely other movies, and it would still be of solid movies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure. I totally agree with you there. There were only 5 of your 9 picks that ended up on the bracket. Again, we talked about it, whether it makes the air or not, because we're doing it in between picks. But all of those picks were absolutely fantastic. They just ended up not making it. I did my best to spread things out with actors. Obviously, Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey were the exception because they both had just ridiculous 90s. There's no way you couldn't have any of those on the list. And honestly, there was some I cut from them that did not make it as well. So it was really, really hard to go through. And I commend you guys for going through it with me. Why did half of Sean's disappear? There they go. That was weird. Because that's right. He changed one of his picks and then it messed up because some of the pictures I took had the other Photoshop. You have to transition stuff. That's what it was. All right, there you go. Those were your guys' picks. Dumb and Dumber was the only one that made it on all 3 of your final fours. Robert was a man of his word. He also had Liar Liar in his final four, but a lot of mixed around picks. None of you had the same movie as your champion, and it just showed how many different options you guys had.
Yeah, I'm still shocked with Clueless, and for Clueless, Erik had it in his top 4. That's a little shocking.
The reason why you saw my other top 4, I'm thinking, okay, balancing out with ones that I know I would love that have quite a bit of mass appeal, but also others that also had a general mass appeal for someone who wasn't quite as part of my demographic or others for that movie. So again, not to mention, I also watched a handful of the subsequent TV series as well. Not as good as the movie, but did it justice.
I switched Home Alone and Friday at the last minute. I would have had Friday on the league.
Yeah, a lot of really tough choices for you guys. I knew this episode was going to bring some pain and frustration. You guys did a really good job breaking it down and trying to figure out who the winner was. Obviously, the top 2 seeds to get in there. Let us know in the comments down below what movies did not make the bracket. There's a lot of them. So I will not have any offense to it. Which ones you thought should have made the bracket. Play along with us as always. Go ahead and play or fill out your own bracket. Let us know how things went. And maybe you could be like one Sean Garmer and be a Bad Brackets winner. 36 points for Sean Garmer, his 3rd win of the series, tying Erik for 2nd all time. Congratulations, sir.
Awesome.
However, your 36 points and your win does drop your average a little bit. So that kind of sucks.
You know, Erik, Randy's a number guy. He's going to drop it for you.
I got all sorts of stuff going on over here. It's great.
Yeah, that makes it fun, though.
Speaking of numbers, I know where you're going with this. What level of ignominy did I set with this performance?
For the 2nd time ever, in the 16 episodes of Bad Brackets, Erik scored single digits. Jesse Knight was the only other person to score single digits. However, it is still Jesse Knight that holds the record. Jesse got 2 points.
Barely.
He also went 0 for 3 in his picks, but got only 1 of the final 4 correct. So Erik getting 2 of his final 4 all the way through keeps him out of the bottom spot. But I will say that Jesse then went on after only scoring 2 points, and he has won the last 2 episodes he's been on since. So maybe Erik can go on a run himself, and it could start next week because we have the same 3 people on next Monday on a very interesting show. It was one I wanted to get people in different countries, and we still miss Harry on this show, and hopefully internet will finally work, though it seems like it has traveled down to Erik's house a little bit, but not as bad lately. But so we missed Erik, and the whole point was to try to get 3 different people from 3 different parts of the country because it's a hot topic, and it always seems to be regional. But we are going to do the best pop, soda, soft drink, whatever you want to call them. We are going to decide which one is the best, and I'll throw it out here right now, and you can think about it for an entire week. Diet versions of the sodas are not on the bracket. We may do another diet one later. It just
or not.
Maybe
or not. Yeah,
we'll see how long. If this show goes on for a while, I might have to.
I mean, if you want to, if you got like your dad or a dad or a grandpa or something that you want to put on. And then you want to talk about diet sodas.
But it was definitely going to mud up.
That's me. That's me.
You guys.
Why do you think I immediately am like?
I set these guys a couple of days ago the rules to
come on, Garmer,
to get their answers, to get the prep stuff going on. Hagen was the only one that threw a fit about
it. We had to laugh a little bit more,
When that episode comes out, is the week I turn 50. Just where you know that, sir.
Yeah.
Well, hey, at least
congratulations on the big 50.
But I will say it was just because it was going to mud up the bracket too much with diet versions of the same soda, and I wanted to, as you've seen with this episode, I like to keep the variety in there. And it is not as Hagen was worried. He was like, "Well, this and this are different." I was like, "Yes, the like Pepsi and Diet Pepsi are two different sodas. I'm not saying all of those get combined into one. They're just off on their own thing.
Yeah.
They will not be included." But we will see how things go. It should be a lot of fun. That bracket is all set, ready to go. I had my son go through it as I got things finished up, and it was interesting to see where he went. It'll be interesting to see where these three guys go as well. But that's a week from now. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the other YouTube stuff. We appreciate you guys so very much for continuing to slowly grow this channel. I know I'm horrible at promotions and getting the word out. So if you could help us out and you like this stuff, send it to your friends, get into the arguments that we get into, and have a lot of fun with it. But until next week, that's Robert, that's Eric, that's Sean. My name is Randy Isbell. And don't forget, good brackets don't last forever, but bad brackets do.